Hi YouTube, I'm FoxxC.
I'm Kitty.
And this is FoxxC and Kitty Get Weird! Our guest today is Lady Lunasea, who is a friend of mine, and we're training partners and sometimes do some event stuff together and yoga and hang out and talk about boys.
All the cute boys. Yeah. Yeah.
There's just a lot of very pretty people here.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah.
I'm really digging the man bun.
Just
Because
you.
when they're nice and clean, and then they've got the man bun because they're like working really hard. It's just like, no, you got it all going on. It's just like
I've had my share of the knot, which wants to be a man bun when it grows up.
mine's all been at a distance. I haven't. No. I don't know the close-up experience.
So your most recent project was the Passion Portal Summer Edition.
Yeah, coming up on a year pretty soon here.
That's super cool, and that party has kind of been growing every time you do that event.
Yeah, I mean, first it was a little magic bean of an idea, and came to me after a Costa Rica trip when I was in the jungles of Costa Rica, and I'm like, I want to cultivate something in Vancouver and take this energy from my Costa Rica experience and create something that's community bonding, where I can integrate my creativity and bring artists together, showcase different artists, and it all kind of came pouring through me, and I started to attract people to help me bring the vision to life. And we host one a season now. First we started small, and now we're just like watching it grow, and the last one that we had really came together quite fast, and I'm almost having a hard time keeping up with its growth. Yeah.
How many people did you have at your last event?
Pardon?
How many people did you have at your last event?
It was another full house at the Waldorf, and I think that we were able to expand at this time from the previous party from 500 in spring, and I think we had about almost 600 of this one.
That's great turnout.
Yeah.
And I really like Passion Portal because you've kind of got like the kink community and the rave community kind of colliding for a party, and it's a neat, super respectful space. I think I'm gonna do some more on that in a future episode. Hopefully get to talk to you and some of the other organizers, and maybe bring the camera through the party.
Ooh, that'd be neat.
Oh, that'd be cool.
Yeah, that'd be a fun episode. We should do that.
I could be on the other side.
We do have some live streaming there too sometimes.
Yeah.
Public address comes in. And,
Oh, cool.
yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, it's really neat.
I have definitely wanted to get more into the kink community. I've just not been so well, but
This
also
is
have
great.
known so many people in it. So
Yeah. This is a great opportunity if you want to get into the fetish kink world, because I actually started throwing it with Isaac, who throws Sin City and Vancouver Fetish Weekend.
awesome.
So I actually went to one of his parties, and it was Sin City. I think it was his 16-year anniversary party, and he had booked me to perform pole, and I was on the upper level looking down at everyone dancing. And, I came as a solo artist because I was performing, but in this moment in time, I'm just looking down at everyone and just like soaking in the whole party and seeing everyone all dressed up, like being themselves, and just thinking to myself, like, yes, this is who I want to throw parties with. Like, he brings out a crowd that are comfortable being themselves,
I know.
and it's purely consensual and sexy at the same time, and I'm like, hell yeah.
Yeah, and the level of respect that everybody has for like everybody's gender and sexual preference and like ability to express it is really neat, and it's a really unique space that you've created, so that's really cool. I really enjoyed that.
That's absolutely amazing.
So what do you have coming up in the short term? Your birthday's next week?
In the short term, yeah, I'm turning 25 in 2 days. On Tuesday, 25 on the 23rd. Thank you.
Oh,
exciting.
Yeah.
Is it?
What's for me?
I'm grateful for my youth.
Yeah. You have a long way to go.
Come a long way too.
Oh man. You hit 30 at all? No, I'm just joking.
Then you're only like a third of the way.
Yeah. No. I'm totally
Hashtag sinister.
different case here. So it's yeah, no. Honestly, I feel like I'm still in my 20s.
Yeah.
And
I don't feel 25, that's for sure.
I don't feel 32.
I'm in my 20s, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
I think more people share their age when they feel younger than they are. Like when they inside they really feel younger, so they're okay sharing their real age because it doesn't affect them. It's like, no, I'm 22 or whatever my age is.
Yeah, I'm 33 and I only really notice if I haven't been exercising and then I start exercising again. Like that first couple of days, your body is like,
use it or lose it.
Yeah.
Short term, I'm getting back into dancing and working on this routine that I've been had in my mind for a couple of years now, it feels like. So I've been putting in the time and the energy and all my efforts into bringing those into fruition while balancing Passion Portal as well. So one thing I have that I've been working on is my pole fire routine. So I got this fire crown made, and I just have this fantasy of climbing my pole while it's on spin mode, having the crown that's on fire, and then incorporating some fire torch action into there,
and you've got I guess Passion Portal's the big one, and we've kind of been working on some November 17th.
Yeah,
and
Passion Portal.
We've been working on some. You've been doing double hoop. I've been working on meteor hammers, so we've been out training a fair bit for that. That's been kind of exciting as well.
Time to level up is now.
Yeah, we're gonna have some videos coming out about that. I think, at least I am. I don't know. You're always posting stuff on your Instagram though. And other stuff that we've got our eye on, I think we want to talk about, is marijuana legalization, which is coming up on October 17th. It's lots of 17ths. That's kind of...
Yeah.
That's random.
Yeah.
And as
the spiritual meaning of this.
I don't know. Let's try to read that into it.
I this is my favorite number. Anything with a 7. Light.
Come on, baby, light my fire.
Smoking weed and listening to the Doors changed my life. And I would not be the person I am today without it, and I'm very grateful for that.
Send it.
And we're going to talk about kind of the upcoming legalization. So you and I were both recreational smokers to start with, and now I think as performers and athletes, we tend to use it more therapeutically. And can you talk about that experience and how it shifted for you and what it's like with legalization upcoming and kind of the culture here in Vancouver?
Well, I mean, there's a dispensary a block and a half away from my place. I've been walking by there for a few months, didn't even realize I could go in there and procure anything. So just discovered that recently, and I was stoked to discover CBD pills, and I gave them a try, and where has this been all my life? So I think it's great that there's legalization coming. I just hope that it doesn't affect the pricing. You know, I don't want the prices to kind of skyrocket, because it would be really lovely to be able to continue procuring this and taking it on a more regular basis, because I found it really soothed my anxiety and allowed me to just flow. And it's been expensive, so I haven't been buying it lately, but I have been smoking weed. And just a little bit every day. Yeah.
Do you find that it aids you in recovery at all from training or anything like that?
I find it more kind of just gets me out of my bubble.
Okay. Yeah, I get that.
I get a little bit of cabin fever. I'm home working a lot.
Yeah.
So I very much have endless amounts of time to just think. So it kind of just allows me to let go of all the thoughts at once. It's a blessing and a curse to have the flexibility in my schedule like that.
Yeah, I'm finding the same thing. When I'm writing a lot and I don't have any external meetings or projects to go to, I'm always kind of stir crazy, and you get all the chores done.
I need to go buy a drink from the store.
Yeah.
Just get outside, cabin fever.
Exactly. I go for lunch not because I need to buy lunch, but because I need to leave the house.
Yeah. also too, just like inviting sobriety into my life with open arms and wanting to get my signal clear, like having just like a clearer idea of like who I want to be and what do I want to offer the world, and like how can I best nourish myself so I may heal and tap into my innate strengths, my gifts.
And that's an interesting thing you bring up too, is like the idea of sobriety and what often what
still smoke weed every day though.
Yeah, what we're talking about, and I found the same thing, was like for a lot of people who are recreational drug users, or who have and in my activist line of work, I saw a lot of people who had been like opiate addicts or something like that, who were using cannabis as a way to mitigate their withdrawal symptoms, and also like
that's awesome.
Like fill in the gaps where pain doesn't work.
Yeah.
And you
Fill
can
the
talk about
void.
that.
I just came off of a different type of antidepressant I've never had before, and it worked on me, but I was going through bad withdrawal, brain zaps, throwing up, like physical dependency on it, and without this literally saved me. I couldn't eat without it. I wouldn't be able to sleep without
What's
it
that?
because I was through so
Weed?
much pain. Yeah. Sorry,
Like
marijuana.
smoking it?
Yeah.
Yeah, let's go back to what we were talking about, which is weed, which is one of our favorite things to talk about. And yeah, I really hope that patients don't get left behind in this whole thing, and
No shit.
that we still have access to like CBD pills and shatter extracts and edibles and topicals that really help people who are on the margins in our society, or who choose to use alternatives that aren't part of the pharmaceutical industry.
And should be welcomed, not outlawed and outcast.
I don't really feel that it's super outcast here in Vancouver.
Edibles though.
Yeah, the response to this lighter is dead.
The response to this lighter is dead. Everybody. There's another lighter in that yellow bag.
Yeah, but then I'd have to get up.
Okay,
and go
get
get
up.
it.
Go on. What a good Foxy.
I know.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Oh, you go get your own lighter then. Get a purple lighter. It's
whatever.
not my lighter.
It's my lighter, and I like purple. So.
Purple's a good color.
And we're back. So we're gonna ask you about any funny pot stories you have, because we always have kind of funny pot stories to share. I have tons of funny pot stories to share.
Oh, yeah. Well, there was just one time I ate 4 pot cookies, and it was actually my first time ever eating edibles. And my second boyfriend was like, "Hey, look, I have like 4 like peanut butter pot cookies, and I don't smoke weed, so if you like this, like," and I was like, "Sure, why not?" And I took it and ate 1, and I was just like, "Oh fuck, that's fucking delicious." Ate 2. Next thing you know, I ate all 4. And like I had forgotten their pot cookies. They were so fucking good too. Like the best peanut butter cookies I've ever had. And
that will happen.
Yeah, and then we had a double date planned for that evening. We were gonna cook dinner at our place, and I was gonna cook. And I went to the grocery store with my boyfriend at the time, and then came back about an hour later, coming up the steps, and I was like, I feel kind of funny, like lightheaded. I was just like, huh, like I forgot that I had eaten.
The world is so large.
Yeah, I was like, "Ding." And then I was like trying to cook this taco meat, and it was ground beef in a pan, and it was like semi-frozen, and I'm like noticing over time I'm like falling in. I'm just like,
oh my goodness.
Oh my god.
And time seems to slow down.
Break this meat apart. Oh, I'm moving through like quicksand. And I'm just like, and my boyfriend at the time, like, he couldn't fucking cook to save his life, and like he also just didn't like cooking at all. So I was just like having a bit of a panic attack, but at the same time, like, I didn't want him to get upset over having to cook. And I'm just like, look, you gotta take the spatula. You gotta take it. I was like, I gotta lie down. Like,
are
no,
you sure? I don't know what I'm doing. Are you sure?
I said, I can't breathe. I can't breathe. And he was like, do you want me to call an ambulance? I'm like, no. And then he's like, okay, I'm gonna lie down. He like takes me to the bedroom, like lie down. I'm like full on starfish. And then I realized that
that's when time stops.
I became one with the bed, and I was like melting into the bed, and I could move my eyes. That was the only part of my body that I could move. And then I noticed that people were becoming frantic in the house, and I'm just like watching them from the bedroom, running by the door. And then my ex goes into the room, and I'm like looking at him, and he's just like takes this big bin, empties the contents, runs back out, and I'm like, what the fuck is going on in my head? and then I was able to like see these red lights at the window to my right, and I'm like looking out the window, and I see like fire trucks and like cop cars, and I was like, the fuck, like it just kept escalating. And then it turns out there was like a fire in the back.
Did your boyfriend burn the building down trying to cook?
Maybe that's what happened. And he wanted to mask it by saying there was a fire outside. That's the story that I was told. Oh shit! Plot twist. Yeah, and I don't think anyone informed me that there was a fire in the back until like, you know, so I was in a full-on panic. I thought there was a fire, so I was like panicking, thinking that they were gonna forget about me and I was gonna die in this fire lying on the bed, frozen to the bed. It was like one of the worst experiences of my life. And then when I woke up, I was like, they told me what happened, and I'm like, oh Jesus Christ, is there any more tacos? And they had left like enough for one, and it was all cold, and I was like, I went through all of that.
For one cold taco.
Yeah.
One is not none.
Next time someone offered me a pot cookie though, I was just like, no. Get it away.
I've never said no, and it has never gone poorly for me, so don't do what I do, kids.
Don't do what I did. You were only supposed to have 2 max of those pot cookies. Apparently.
I'd do it.
I don't even know how I ringed out. I just like started feeling faint, like a rush of faint, and I'm panicked, but not like, oh, I need to call 911 or anything. I'm like, this is just the weed. It's just weed. Crawled over to out my door in the living room, like, or into the hallway. Like if somebody comes by, they'll at least see me. I was just like, and then I passed out. I like,
oh no,
gone, and it was a full-on faint.
And
then I woke up like I had been sleeping. So
yeah, it's just like you go to sleep and you wake up like you've had a really solid nap.
I did, and I felt good, and I felt so sick before, and it was just like,
yeah, I
feel like I'm gonna faint. I have to get to this spot, and then, like,
this is the perfect spot.
Yeah, and I wasn't really panicking either. I was like pretty calm.
That's
But I knew it was weed, and I know nobody's overdosed from smoking.
Yeah.
So
you were somewhat sensible though. I mean, yeah, you were greened out, but you were just like, get to safety.
So,
I got sick the first time I greened out.
That's the
difference.
I got sick the first time I greened out. That's gross.
That's the biggest difference I've noticed between medical users versus recreational. Is I go into it learning this first, and then when it happens or if it happens, I know what to do, or I know it's not something I freak out about. I mean, I've heard the people call, like on the radio, somebody called in 911 because they released it to the radio station, so they gotta play.
The cops calling 911 on themselves because they got pot cookies.
There was just one.
Freaked out.
There's that one too.
They ate them.
Yeah.
Why did they eat them?
They stole the pot cookies and ate them, and this cop, and there's like a few, and there was like officers in Toronto recently who were caught eating pot on duty or something like that, and then freaking out.
Oh my god!
And it's like,
first of all,
aren't you supposed to know what this stuff does to you?
They're not taught.
And of course they're not taking it because they're not supposed to take it.
Yeah.
And
cops that confiscate things just to do them themselves.
Or just be like, you know what, Like, the moment when it's like, you know, it's gonna be legalized and we should just try it because we got, like, whatever, when you get to that point, it's like, time and place. And also, anything, like, for my whole thing was, I always like to research things before I take them. So, like, any kind of substance, even if I wasn't planning on taking it, I just like to, I've always been fascinated with intoxicants of any description. And so, like, going through Arrowhead and being like, reading people's experiences, looking at the chemistry or biochemistry of what it does.
That's why you were like the first person that actually like introduced me to it, because you introduced me to it medically, not like, oh, you should smoke marijuana. You're like, well, it's like you're in so much pain, and this every time you do one thing, this thing happens. So you gotta give your body a break. Like, there's literally, I ran into a wall of information that I could not ignore.
Yeah. And it's not going to work for everybody, but it works for so many people that it just, let us have our weed. It's the West Coast. We love it. And things are going to be cool.
Hey.
That was so cheesy.
I like cheese.
Yeah, me too.
Cheese.
Cheese. Is there anything else you want to talk about? Anything you want to ask?
Taco.
Tacos are gluten free.
That's true. Corn tortillas.
Corn tortillas and quesadillas.
Okay, now we're going into horrible people territory. Let's wrap this up. Thanks very much for joining us. I'm FoxxC.
I'm Kitty.
This is Lady Lunasea. We can find you at...
on Instagram at Lady Lunasea. LadyLunasea.
Cool, and we'll link that. Have a great day, everybody.
Bye. Yay.